What's going on, guys? T2RX6 here, back for another third-party review. Today we're taking a look at the Magic Square MS-B29 video team. Of course, this is Reflector. First and foremost, this is sent to me by my good buddy Robert D, who's letting me check this out. He really likes this guy, and incidentally needed a piece fixed, and he was like, can you please fix it and go ahead and review it? And I'm like, sure, we can do that. So here's the camera mode, just kind of like to get the ideal just camera. This is the one that came with Fans Toys. I don't even know. I don't think it came with their spotter, but kind of to show kind of what it could look like, I suppose. I mean, even on the back, they still got the robot bits going on here. And it's the same here. Like, you know, overall, it's a pretty clean, good-looking version of the Reflector camera. You do see some robot stuff going on, but I mean, you can't really fault them for that. Now, he does come with a couple accessories. Outside of the flash here, he has this gun thing. He comes with 3 of these knives, and then he comes with 3 of these identical guns. So these knives are intended to plug into here, but the holes are really small. It's very tight, and it doesn't feel very good trying to get them in. At best, I can get like 1 or 2 in, and then I just kind of feel like, well, my fingers pop one of them off. And this is really in there. If you're going to use that, definitely either enlarge the holes a little or put some of the silicone shock oil on it, and it should slide the knives in there. It's not my toy. I'm not going to do that. The guns also can peg in here, and these, I can say, gladly don't have any particular issues. And they kind of go like this, and it is kind of nice that the handles kind of support, make a support frame for the tripod, but it is really a tripod made out of guns. Now, the way this is supposed to work is this goes in, and then it like clips into the middle one's crotch, but when I plug it in that way, whoops, you didn't see that, Robert. When I plug it in that way, they tell you to do it while you're transforming them. So you fit it in there, but like it always has this forward angle on it, like it doesn't sit flush, and I just don't know if I'm not pegging it in completely correct. Like when I get it to sit not flush and actually like straight, it's not actually really pegged in really well. And there is one more accessory I forgot. And this piece here, I'm not a huge fan of this like semicircle to plug into the chest. Like, it doesn't hold very well. If you're not messing with it, it's not going to come out, but I don't necessarily feel like that's the most elegant thing. So you take I guess this would be like one of your lenses, and you plug it in there. So once that's like that, of course, you can put all the guns in here. Where'd the last one go? And there it is. And you can put these in, and then you make a little tripod for your reflector. The only thing I can say is, I feel like Perfect Effect did the tripod better. Yes, it's a tripod made out of guns, but it's not quite as obvious because it's just one big Gatling gun versus these individual guns. So, I wanted to bring these out. You can see the camera's a little bit longer overall on the Perfect Effect one. It's not quite as perfect of a reflector. This is the like Shadow Ops version. It was a convention exclusive for Perfect Effect here. Back again, kind of your standard reflector fare in this sense. But you know, like every time this guy falls over, this thing comes out and the lens part falls off, and this guy doesn't have that problem because he used a hole here. Now, obviously, when I think of having all these little accessories, I think about this guy because this guy has a ton of accessories, and they can all clip on or store in the shield or inside the lens, and like there's just so many things that this one does that is so perfect that like this one here, like I feel like they included all these things like the knives and stuff probably because the designer thought of the Perfect Effect one. But I don't think they really incorporated as well, because really these just plug in here, and then when they're in robot mode you have all this stuff still to contend with. So I will say, with all the accessories off, this is the Magic Square one in its base form, and it's still a serviceable looking camera, whereas this one really starts falling apart without the base, you know, covering the crotches, and like literally you need the base to kind of hold it together. So just real quick so you can see the scale, here he is next to the New Age Megatron. Obviously nobody's holding this camera in the Legend scale. So getting this guy transformed actually pretty easy. You can kind of go ahead and separate this. Then you'll have these two pieces here. And you do have to kind of get in there with nails or something to separate these two pieces here. Really nice interlocking system because it interlocks with the tabs, and then these pieces kind of secure the top. I really like it. So you do have these three pieces, and basically these two guys transform mirror of each other, and this guy transforms exactly the same way, pretty much, just with the added piece here. So you're going to go ahead and unpeg these, just fold this on down. We're going to get the arms up and out of the way. Important for this guy is that he's the only one that needs his hands like this. And you'll see that when we go back. We can pull that on out, and then we'll go ahead and adjust the hands so they are correct. There we go. Head kind of comes up here. You can swivel it out and down to make sure it swivels in place. And then this whole assembly just kind of comes up on his back. And you can see that little tab there is intended to plug in just like that. So for the most part, he's done. We're going to split the legs. We're going to open up this back panel, flip this around, close it back up, and do the same thing on this side. Open it up, flip it, close it. From here, kind of take this foot piece, pull it down, and you'll see it kind of slides the foot down, and that gives you the clearance to move this. Overall, very easy, very intuitive transformation. And it works just fine. So I'm only going to do one of these two because whatever's on the left on this guy is on the right on this guy. That's really what it boils down to. Everything else transforms exactly the same way. So I'll do this one, and we'll do the second one off camera. Just know that what you see on this side, again, is on the other side with the other one. So take these little panels, fold them closed like that, kind of just like you did with the center bot. Open this up, drop the legs down, flip that. With this out of the way, we can take the hands, bring them on through, like so. Fold them up, pull the arms out. Arms are done. Take his headpiece, kind of fold that in place. These guys here, swivel around, and then this way, and then fold up in place like that. So you should have that panel that rotates out in the back on both sides. You'll know you have it right because when you bring this piece down, you can see you have the slot and the tab here. It just tabs in like that. So he is practically done, save doing the same thing you did with the feet here. Pull this down, pull the foot out, rotate this panel and close it. Again, rotate this panel, close it, pull this down, and open the foot. There we go. So we got these two guys done. And like I said, I'll do the third off camera. So the only thing that's slightly different about the other one is his tab is on the back here as opposed to this tab. So you just kind of plug it in there. But other than that, he's exactly the same. And there's all three of our Reflector bots in their robot mode. And the detail on Reflector looks good. I think it is a good likeness of the head. I love the clear translucent, the shutter here. This is the one that was actually broken from the factory. And they did not have a pin in, I think it was this one. Yeah, it's this one here. So this foot just would slide right out. So check your pins, make sure all three of them have pins. Just a very small factory oversight. I suspect it's a very limited issue and it's not a widespread thing, but you know, Robert's had that. So accessories on this guy. We have what makes the tripod, and it goes nowhere as far as I can tell. It's not even kind of, I guess you can kind of use it as some weird gun thing. It barely pegs in. I'm not really sure what the point of the peg is. There doesn't seem to be any spot on any of them that it can peg in. And maybe it's something that was in the picture, but just kind of for reference, here's the instruction manual. And aside from showing it plugging into the bottom, there is no disclosure on here as to what you can do with it. So, I don't know. I'm not really sure what the intent was. But this tripod main piece, it doesn't really work to be a tripod, and like I don't see any place that it would plug in or work for them in robot mode either, outside of that very loose hand grip. Knives, they all can hold their knives just fine. The one thing I liked about the Perfect Effect is they gave you a little clip here to plug it in the back, and all those clips stored too. If you don't like the knives, I guess you can put them in their back like they're ninjas. I guess that kind of works. You can kind of tuck it in there. It doesn't really tell you it's supposed to go in there, and I suspect it would push all the way through given the opportunity. But it's at least something you could do with them. But I mean, that kind of is, it's not a big deal per se, but it's like if you did take inspiration to give them the knives from the Perfect Effect Reflector, there should have been like a leg clip or something, so this doesn't just need to sit in the box. Yeah, I mean, I'm fine them all holding their rifles in their hand, and luckily that looks good. So there we go, that's the three of them holding their guns. The lens of the camera comes apart and does that, but again, there's no real disclosure of what you can do with it, I guess. And I'm assuming based on how the pegs come out, you could put it on the sides of them like that, which, you know, let me see, hold on. Yep, so I've got the Perfect Effect instructions here, and it's slightly reminiscent, I guess. Like they take the pack and open it up and just plug it into the back of one of the Perfect Effect guys. So I guess there's this, but like that looks super goofy for me. And don't get me wrong, I'm fine with putting parts back in the box or something, but when you just kind of stick them on like this, and it just looks like you're looking, how can I stick something on this guy? It's just a little bit silly. And again, I still don't know where you're gonna put this. The lens, I think, is cool. You can open up the lens here, and you can push it like this, and you get the little missiles to pop out on either side here. Again, nothing here, I suppose. Let's see. Yep, you could plug them in, so you give them missile pods. Like that, I feel like works more for me than the lens does, just because like it's missiles, you know, like whatever. The missile spam always works for me. But I don't want that criticism of this guy to take away from my feelings on him. Like in robot mode, they're spectacular. Like the fact that they all three look pretty much the same, with the main one having the lens on it, is great. Like the detail on their faces looks great. They feel good. Even in the new age, you know, kind of flat plastic, like it works. There's enough silver paint and other picked out paint apps to make them interesting. I don't have too many complaints. And just to bring in the old Perfect Effect guys, obviously these guys are way too small comparatively. Maybe they work in your collection. They would look good next to those New Age Insecticons, I suppose. But you can see they're just so far from G1 because of their aesthetic look. And just a few more things for size comparison. Here's the New Age Megatron, the New Age Starscream, and the New Age Jazz. So you can see they're like the size of one of the New Age Carbots. And I think they look fantastic next to the Starscream and Megatron that New Age has put out. So again, we're going to only get 2 out of 3 back to their robot mode, just so I can show you the differences. Really, there is none for the most part. Start with the left side here. Just fold him up like this. Unpeg this, bring it up and around. Go ahead and fold everything of this you can out and bring it to the side. Again, on this side, you're going to flip everything you can out, this little square and this little square, and just bring it to the side. Now the instructions tell you to kind of put the hands and stuff in place. I do find it easiest to manipulate the head while there's nothing here, because you want this plate to kind of go 90 degrees backwards like that. Basically a 180 from where it used to be. And once you have that, then you can bring all this stuff back in, and you can see just how all this is going to fit together. Coming down to the legs here, we'll go ahead, we're going to open this, spin it around, close it, flip the toe, and just push the leg back in place. Real nice, real clean. I like that. Do it here, like this. Flip it, push it in, and peg it together. From here, you just kind of bend the knees, bring it on up so they peg in here. And then from here, I always come back down here and I just kind of check the knees and push them straight in place. That's gonna let you bring this thing down and close this, and then bring this down, and we'll just leave it like this. So we'll do the third one off camera. We'll do this one just because he's the main body, I guess. So we lift this, bring it over. We'll go ahead and close up the arms and bring the fists around like so, and up. And it's a little bit tough with the ball joint, but yeah, needs to be facing like that because he has slightly less tolerance, given that it's supposed to hold on to this. And just while we have it, like you can see the mushroom peg here, and that's how it's supposed to go in. It just kind of slides into this spot here, and that's supposed to work somehow. It doesn't. So with this like this, same thing. You bring these to the back here. Whoops, let's do the head because like I said, easiest to work with it now before arms are in the way. So 90 degrees that plate. Bring that in like so. Coming down to the legs, flip your toes. Flip the back plate. Flip your toe. Flip the back plate, push it in place, peg them together, rotate them up, and plug them in place. From here, clean these up. There is no side panels to clip down on the legs, but this will come around here, and as I said, just kind of plug into there. So we can go ahead and just give the camera a bit. So now that we've got all three done, you just see you peg these in here. You got the top and the bottom to peg in, and then that closes down like that to kind of secure this in place. Bring that top and bottom pegs in place on both sides. There we go. Oh, lost the lens. And once that's there, you just kind of clip that down to extra secure things. Very nice. No complaints. I mean, outside of what I've already said is a complaint. And then this is just two little pegs that just peg right in the top. So overall, if you're in the market for a Legends reflector, this guy's great. I don't want you to get any of my commentary wrong. I think he's fun to transform. I think he's a great little bot, a great little camera. Only a couple things I would have done better. Don't like the half moon. The accessories are not really a big deal. The only reason that I nitpick them is because something that has come first and I do feel like was probably a design inspiration for this guy, with like the knives and the camera being a missile spam thing, or the flash being a missile spam thing. Like, I do feel like you could have done the accessories better, but it's a nitpick really. I know New Age is coming along. If they don't incorporate the accessories, you know, like the perfect effect, it's going to be the same nitpick for them. Whether or not this is better to transform than New Age or a better camera, I don't know. Time will tell. But I can say that this is good, and if I am disappointed with the New Age one, which is the one I've got pre-ordered, I certainly would be picking this one up. So once again, big shout out to Robert D for letting me check this out. Yeah, I really appreciate it, Robert, and I hope you guys enjoyed the review. I'll see you next time.